This lecture is titled Separation of Concerns. Separation of concerns, or SoC in short, is a principle which we actually discussed in the section of Single Responsibility Principle. SRP and SoC are strongly related. Basically, SoC is a principle which means that we have to separate different concerns into different modules. Adhering to SoC allows to build modular systems. The difference between SoC and SRP is that SoC is mostly applied at the highest level. The value of separation of concerns is simplifying development and maintenance of computer programs. When concerns are well separated, individual sections can be reused as well as developed and updated independently. A special value is the ability to later improve or modify one section of code without having to know the details of other sections and without having to make corresponding changes to those sections. Most of the time you can treat SRP and SoC as the same concepts and you can use them interchangeably. Here's the list of concerns we most often face in enterprise software development: UI, business logic, presentation logic, and database. Imagine a room where all the things are scattered all over the floor. Will it be simple to find a particular book there? Wouldn't it be easier to keep all the things separate, books on a shelf, toys in the boxes, and so on? The same we can say about programming and separation of concerns. If you intertangle UI with business logic, then it will be harder for you to maintain all that mess, find anything you need there, change anything you need to change, and so on. There is a thing which can ruin our best intentions regarding separation of concerns. This nasty thing is called leaking abstractions. We separate concerns by applying the concept of encapsulation. Only by encapsulation we can protect objects and hide their internals. Unfortunately, abstractions tend to leak, especially in complex APIs. There is a great number of popular cases of leaking abstractions. One of my favorite examples when a view model, or in other words presentation logic, knows something specific to UI. Here is an example when a view model exposes a property of type color. This is a classic example when presentation logic is incorrectly implemented from the SoC point of view. To fix this example, we need to remove the property and expose another one, which just returns a boolean. UI on its side should decide what color to pick. This is not a concern of a presentation layer. Another good example when domain logic operates with unique identifiers stored in a database. In such the case, a concern of persistence is mixed with the domain logic. Domain logic should be agnostic regarding any persistence mechanisms. Actually, there are tons of examples of leaking abstractions. Keep in mind that layers which represent different concerns should be isolated from each other in such a way that none of them should know about any intrinsic details of each other. On the other side, I must admit that there can be exceptions from this rule. From the perspective of domain-driven design, or DDD in short, writing stored procedures which implement any kind of business logic, for example, they perform validation and mutation of data, is considered a violation of separation of concerns principle. At the same time, unfortunately, running directly SQL procedures are way much faster in certain scenarios than performing operations through an object relational mapper, such as Entity Framework. Treat such cases as exceptions. In the next lecture, you'll learn the CQS, or Command Query Separation Principle.